We interrupt what you're watching right now to bring you this exciting story.
It's the dust and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the pledge of allegiance on the 4th of July. It's some handwritten letters from home. It's some sleepless nights alone. It's his newborn baby he left with his wife. It's the red, white, and blue. Lay down, here's a line. It's the red, white, and blue. 40 stars and stripes. Hey. From the fields of Indiana to the swamps of Louisiana to the golden coast of California. Uncle Sam's the only family he's got. His purple heartbeat won't stop. And his 18th birthday was the day he was born. It's the red, white, and blue. Lay down, here's a light. It's the red, white, and blue. 40 stars and stripes. It's the red, white, and blue. Stand on the front line. It's the red, white, and blue. Pay the ultimate price. Oh. He was a man of the house when he was born. His family is proud but torn. But if you know him, you will understand. He was raised on how to be brave, just to see the facts you made. And then he came home when all he wanted is Mr. Red, White, and Blue. Lay down near the light. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. All these stars and stripes. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. Stand on these red lines. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. To pay the ultimate price. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. Lay down his life. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. 40 stars and stripes. Marching line, marching line. Hey, hey.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, good afternoon. It is Sunday, 3 p.m. What a gorgeous day outside. A little bit cool. Thanks, Kim. Appreciate that. I like that when you come in here. Hello, I can hear you. Erie Stars. Thanks for coming in. We appreciate you. Uh, you guys are busy, busy folks on social media. I tell you what, you guys you guys are really going on. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna throw this picture up here right now. I gotta tell you. This picture that you guys did is just phenomenal. I love the DTF, whoever did your printing. Great job. I mean, really great job. And I took that image and I put it on TikTok to some really fun music, and I says, "This is the face of making Erie great again." So whoever your model is, we're gonna make him TikTok famous. Um, but the artwork and Brenda's hashtag, amazing, genius. Like I said, I put it up on TikTok to some cool music. This is the face that's making Erie great again. So yeah, we appreciate that. This is the channel of, your channel. As long as you come in here being nice and respectful, well, we'll listen to you. But like we had the shenanigans on Saturday. I'm sorry, on Sunday. I apologize. That's not gonna be tolerated. It gains absolutely nothing. It just goes to show you that the left is really, really, really starting to scrape rock bottom. I don't have any data to back this up, but it was something I saw online. You're now at a 21% approval rating, the Democrats. So you know what happens when you get a skunk cornered in the corner of the old barn. It comes out and it stinks. That's the only analogy I can come up with. But yeah, tell you what, Sunday got a lot of things done today. I was working on some Kim big sign. I got the first big Kim 4x8 sign deployed. If the weather holds tomorrow, I'll get I got the frames out ready to go. I'll get that changed over, take it up to a location up in Summit, get that one deployed. Great location. Uh, another patriot, Tim Kuzma, is going to help. We're going to get some signs up around the city of Erie. It's definitely a team effort. It is definitely that time. Let's not forget to talk about Wednesday is the Republican Women's Little Luncheon. All are welcome. It's at the not Sunflower Club, the Seamburger Club at 12 o'clock. It's $15 lunch. Dean Pepicello is going to be our guest speaker, and the lovely ladies that are running for Erie City Council will be there. They'll give them some time to, give them their spiel and what direction they're going and why should we support them. And it's a good time. Let's pack the place. They do a great job. The food's $15. You bring a 20 there, you could buy your meal, and you get to play the 50-50, and you might walk out with a few bucks. And you got some great speakers coming in. Like I said, the guru of the airways and the voice of the Erie Otters will be the guest speaker. Our own Harbor Creek Township, Dean Pepicello, supervisor extraordinaire. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. There's a lot of stuff going on. Oh my goodness. The Democrats just make this so easy. I don't even have to try to dig this stuff up. We're going to talk some local stuff. We're going to talk some national stuff. Take your calls coming in here. And then we won't keep you here long because it's a great day. It's still a little cool out there. It's like I was looking at the thermometer outside. It's like only in the mid 40s, but you get out in the sun with a nice black t-shirt on. It's great. Matter of fact, I got my MOB. They'll be playing here locally in Lawrence Park here coming up. I got on the calendar. I can't remember the date. If Brenda, can you put the date up there? I appreciate it, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. They'll be playing. Anything important? Brenda, you got some videos for us. Let's come out the gate with some videos.
We are following breaking news out of Pennsylvania, where Governor Shapiro shared this message via social media saying, quote, "Last night at about 2 a.m., my family and I woke up to bangs on the door from the Pennsylvania State Police after an arsonist set fire to the governor's residence in Harrisburg. The Harrisburg Bureau of Fire was on the scene and they worked to put out the fire. We were evacuated," it continues, "from the residence safely by Pennsylvania State Police and assisted by Capitol Police. Thank God no one was injured and the fire was extinguished. Every day, we stand with the law enforcement and first responders who run towards danger to protect our communities. Last night, they did so for our family, and Lori and I are eternally grateful to them for keeping us safe." Pennsylvania State Police is on the scene leading this investigation and will keep the public updated. So we do have that breaking news as Governor Shapiro just taking to social media stating that an arsonist set set fire to the governor's residence in Harrisburg. As of now, we do not have any word as to whether there will be a press conference right here. But I also wanted to share a message from the Pennsylvania State Police taking also to social media, stating that it determined a fire at the governor's residence in Harrisburg early Sunday is an act of arson. There is a reward of up to $10,000 for information leading to an arrest and conviction. So any update, we of course will bring it to you. And should there be a news conference, we of course will also bring that to you live right here on Live Now from Fox.
Well, how about that? My goodness, that's not good news coming out of Harrisburg. That, the governor, I'm not a big fan of him, but I wish no ill to himself or his family. That's not who we are. And of course, we're glad that he got out okay and our first responders did their job. But man, I tell you what, I'm not implying anything. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, Josh has been putting himself really out there. I mean, really, he spends over $1 million for his social media on TikTok. He's always doing some stupid TikTok videos. I don't even know how this guy ever has time to run the Commonwealth when he's doing TikTok. But they also got a little tiff with the PSP. Woo! Yeah, it's contract time with the Pennsylvania State Police, and I think they only offer them like a 2% pay raise. Oopsie, Josh. Here are the men and women that protect you. You're giving them you offer them a 2% pay raise. I'm not saying that it's any shenanigans. I'm just saying you might want to rethink that one just a little bit. And with everything going on with the Democrat Party, with his pushing back, and every other word out of Josh's mouth is Trump, 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 Trump. We're into this. We're into April, and all this stuff going on. It's all Trump's fault. It doesn't matter that we just had 4 years of Sniffy Joe and word salad vice president that put us into this economic crazed times. So then, we try to kind of articulate these tariffs a little bit. Last time I saw it was like 75 different countries have kind of came to the table and said, okay, we get it. We're wrong. We'll fix it. And then there's some audio out here from Chuck Schumer and the gang. It is absolutely disgusting that they are trying to spin this whole thing around, that we're not doing the right thing to help China. I'm sorry, what? We're not doing the right thing. Trump is not doing the right thing to help China. China has rebuilt their country on the backs of Americans with all their Chinese-made stuff. I mean, it's ridiculous, and of course, this is the only tactic the Democrats have nowadays. Trump, 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 Trump. It's Trump's fault. It's Trump's fault. Then I find it funny. Locally, they're going to Shank's fault. Shank's fault. Shank and your followers. My followers? Come on, man. You give me way too much credit. Way too much credit. But it is what Democrats do best. They point their fingers at other people and point at them and say it's their fault. They did this. We didn't have anything to do with this. It doesn't matter that we had, Obama for 2 terms. And then you got Joey. Then you had Trump for 4 years. And then now we got Trump back again, and they're still blaming Trump, where they had the majority of the control for the majority of the time. They chose not to fix it. They chose not to do the right thing. They chose to take care of foreign countries. And, we have to legislate for them to stop. It's just like locally, look at the shenanigans the Democrats have been doing on county council locally with suing the county executive so they can give you and me and my mom and dad and all the retirees out here in Harbor Creek a tax increase. Think about that for just a second. They're suing the county executive so they can raise your taxes. I can't even fathom suing the county executive so they can raise their taxes. When I was on council, they raised tax. The Democrats raised taxes. I voted against it. Every time they brought that vote forward, I voted no. I voted no. Even when it was getting down to a good deal, I'm like, nope. I promised my constituents I would not vote for a tax increase, and I kept my word. But they were able to push it through. Well, yeah, thanks, Dan. Appreciate that. I know I was outside building Kim Hunter big signs. And I had the signs left over from last year. A buddy of mine out here in Harbor Creek, Mark, had them in his backyard, stored them for me. So went and got one, fixed it all up, got it up and functional again. And if it's nice tomorrow, I'll get one. I'll go get the other one tomorrow. I'll get a sign on it and go. But this is why the Democrats have focused so hard on these local races, because these people, your school boards, they just need a handful of votes to raise your taxes. On county council, they literally need 4 votes to raise your taxes. And you got nothing to say about it. And then, of course, the county executive tries to give a balanced budget, said, well, we can use this money, take a couple bucks out of savings, and we can get this thing balanced. No tax increase. Nope. We want a tax increase. Tax and spend Democrats are suing to get you a tax increase. Ridiculous, I say. Hang on. Hi, Kim, you there?
Yes, and I'm so happy you brought up about the taxes,
Lay it on me, sister.
because I want to remind everyone that now that Andre Horton is timed out and wants to run for city council, that he will raise the city taxes.
Oh, in a
That
heartbeat.
He voted every time
Every time.
begging for a tax increase.
Every single time on county council a tax increase was ever brought across the table, his hand was the first in the air. Tax, spend, Democrats, and it needs to stop.
Right. And what did he ever actually vote on that was good for the taxpayer?
Well, that we voted. We had a lot of ARPA funding, but he wanted a social service. That's his big thing: social services, which is just another word for handouts, GCAC and DEI. He was the one that put in a action sheet for $3 million to slide an extra $3 million. They always love the word transparency. No hearings, no conversations, no resolutions, no ordinance, just an action sheet at budget time. He put in one. Mary Rennie put in one for ended up being $6.5 million. Thank you, Jesus. We voted it down. Why do you think they didn't want me there anymore? Because I was the vote. If there was a tie, I was the deciding factor, and I voted no.
Right. And he was so against Project Neptune, which is going to be huge. Thank God you were there, Brian, or we would not have that be coming to Erie.
Nope.
And let's face it, guys and girls, he was in charge of the elections last year. And what happened?
Yep.
It all got messed up. Even Democrats and Republicans, neither one got their mail-in ballots.
No. I mean, in what you have a Democrat chairman that doesn't put Republicans anywhere other than just sitting there warming a chair. He puts all the Democrats in charge of all the finance and personnel and board of elections. It was Andre Horton and Drexel last year. And you know what? The commander is responsible for the ship. I hold them personally responsible for the snafu they had and put us on the national news about how bad of an election we had because we couldn't get them out. And people were calling, Brian, I got three mail-in ballots. No, you got applications. No, Brian, I got 3. Send me a picture. I'm like, oh shit, you got 3 ballots.
Right.
Wow.
And had his brother there while people were voting. Just because you're the brother of an Erie County councilman does not give you permission to go up there, pull people out of line and help them vote.
Well, right. Oh no, and that's exactly the tactics they used because it was absolutely, havoc and chaos. And Drexel was the vice chair. So this year he is the chairman. And look at all the shenanigans that's coming out about the past elections. And audit the vote. And They're prosecuting people for, you know, stuff in the ballots and, fraudulent ballots. But oh, no, 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 it never happened. It never happened. You're an election denier. And it's funny because they like to pin that on us. And the biggest election denier is Hillary Rodham Clinton. He's an illegitimate president. Boom. That is election denying. But oh, she's a Democrat. That's okay.
Right. Rules only apply to us, not to them. Just like Drexel and Copeland going out on social media, not only endorsing Democratic candidates, but giving their campaigns money,
Financing them.
and then turn around saying, oh, but we can be fair. Okay.
Yeah,
If there's
okay.
a ballot within question, they're going to throw it out if it's a Republican one, but they'll say it's all good if it's a Democratic one.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get what you're saying, and I get that, and it's, and just like Terry Scatella, the chairman, he was asked, well, why didn't you put any any Republicans? He goes, oh, the spoils of war,
Right.
that you
He
can
said
cheat.
it right to my face.
I
And I
know.
looked right at him. I said, you know better, and I'm disappointed in you.
Highly disappointed. I mean, we brought him in there and we voted him in when Kim Clear, because Kim Clear, she ran for supervisor while she was on county council. That's fine. And then she absolutely said, "Hey, you know, this guy is a good guy. He helped me with he ran against me, ran a clean campaign. I would really appreciate you guys supporting him." So we talked about it. We voted him in. Boy, was that a big mistake. And then he ran for re-election and he won. But yeah, that was absolutely, yeah.
Only one time did he make me proud of him is when he stood there and told Mary Rennie, quit shaking your head at me. I'm going to vote the right way.
Yeah.
And he voted for that funding for the nurses. That was the only time I was actually really, really proud of him, when
Yeah.
he basically
No,
told
you're
Mary
right.
Rennie to go sit down.
No, I can't even argue with it because I was shocked. I had to take a double take and look to my right and go, wow. Well, I
Yeah.
guess that old Marine still does have some spark. But then everything else on top of it, everything that he gained, he lost. Because it just, then of course, blah, 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 that's not fair. Shank's a two-term chairman and we should give other people a chance. Well, then they turn around and did the same thing. They got Terry Scatella as a two-term chairman.
Well, that was Rock Copeland. He was whining because he wanted to be the chairman.
Yeah, the guy's been there 1 year and he wants to be the chairman. I mean, wow, you barely even know where the bathroom or what key opens what door, and now you want to run Erie County because his campaign promise was that this county is going to pay their fair share in the city of Erie. Well, wait a minute, you guys got 75 million, we got 55 million. We turned it right around and spent $22 million in the city of Erie of ARPA funding. And then they take occupational privilege taxes. They take a percentage out of our paycheck. That's taxation without representation. We're not even allowed to vote or speak or anything how they spend our tax dollars. That's crazy.
Well, and since this new council was formed, they haven't even done anything except file lawsuits against the county executive.
So that's all they do. That's all they got. That's all they can do. It's just havoc and chaos. And, they don't understand the
They got
veto.
Andre Horton telling them what they should and should not be doing.
Right.
They can't think on them for themselves.
No.
And he uses big words to try and make himself look like he's smart, which he's not.
No, I mean, and I get it. And I totally get it. And then that's why, that you got to pay attention to these local races. And that's why we've been pushing so hard in the city to clean up or at least send a message that, we know what you're doing. We're catching on and we're going to push back on you guys. We're not going to let you just ride it out. It's like Chucky Nelson. He thinks my prediction is he's not even going to get out of the primary. He's not.
Oh, I don't think he'll get on the primary, especially after that awful. Let's copy Brian Shank and try and make a podcast.
And then he posted this little paragraph, and it was just blah blah blah. That's not what I meant. People were asking me about the Erie zip code. Dude, you're such a you try to be a spin doctor, and you try to be the king of word salad. And yeah, no, you said it. We've got it. You put it on your podcast, him and Cooley. Um, that I don't care about Republicans, what they say out in Harbor Creek. Yeah, but you sure don't mind taking our money. But by God, I bet you if the Republicans in Harbor Creek stop spending money in the city of Erie, y'all be in a little bit of hot water.
Well, even worse, he said he didn't even care about half the voters in Erie. He said, as long as I got my 51%, I don't care about anybody else.
Yeah. No,
Which
I
means
told
you don't want to represent everybody in the city.
well, that's all he cares about is his demographics. He just cares about that. And then
Right.
I lost a bet. He cost me money. I put money on that he was going to run for city council and controller to keep his feet in the puddle, because that's a very clear tactic with the Democrats. They love to do. It's like Kyle Faust. He ran for county council and controller, and and of course, same
Well,
thing with
just like
Ryan Bizzarro. Ryan Bizzarro did the same thing.
Yeah.
He ran against
That's a
Stacey
typical
Garrity and got his
Democrat.
ass kicked. He was way out of his league on that one. And that
Oh,
way he
yeah.
ran for his seat. A typical Democrat tactic. And I was shocked Chucky didn't do it. Shocked. It cost me I put a lot of money on this one. I mean, I had to
Cost
go
you a beer.
I had to go to the bank and take a penny out of my checking account to pay that bet off.
Well, let's get on to something better. We're celebrating this weekend makes 100 days of a Republican-led Congress, and they got through the draft of the big beautiful bill.
Yep.
And Congressman Mike Johnson said that they will have this big beautiful bill passed by Memorial Day.
Right.
And that is going to be so good for every single one of us Americans, And you saw the Supreme Court; they have been seeing the way, and every time something for Trump goes before the Supreme Court, we just keep winning and winning.
Yeah, for a while there, we had a black eye, and then all of a sudden it kind of like, well, wait a minute, this is working. It's just like deportating little criminals out of this country that they're like, oh no, you can't do it. He's a U.S. citizen. No, he's not. Knock it off. You're out.
Right. And just like now the left cannot go judge shopping either. If the crime occurs in a certain state,
Yep.
they cannot go to a judge in
Nope.
another state. It has to be heard by that judge in that state.
Which it
No
should
more
be.
judge shopping.
Right. And it's ridiculous. They know
Absolutely.
it's just like if I'm in Harbor Creek and I don't like the district magistrate, I go to Summit. No, that's not how it
Right.
works. You get a ticket here in Harbor Creek, you're going to go see the Harbor Creek district magistrate. You don't say, well, hey, my drinking buddy's up on the hill there. That's where I'm going to go.
Right. So I'm going to let you guys go, but I just want to give you an update real quick. Thank you very much, Brian, for pointing out the ladies' Republican luncheon.
Yeah.
Everybody's welcome. I would love to see everybody come out for that. Let's support Miss Birdie and these luncheons that she organizes. Come see Dean. He's a great, great guy. I'll be there speaking. I'll have some yard signs there. And then the 29th, for all you veterans, if you're not signed up, go to Senator Laughlin's Veterans Breakfast. It is free of charge. It is on the 29th. And then later that evening, I believe me and Brian put it out on our Facebook. Senator McCormick will be having a free town hall via Zoom. And that should be really good. It'll be his first one. So let's support Senator McCormick, and I'll get signed up for his Zoom town hall. And then in May, which is right around the corner already, the March for Life parade will be on May 3rd. It starts at Perry Square. The lineup's at 10:45. And then let me see here. We have another thing too. Brian's big truck event out in Harbor Creek. That will be on May 17th from 10 to 1. Come out and support Brian. Bring your kids and family. They always have a big, great turnout, and they have fun on those big trucks.
Right.
And then the following weekend will be the first big festival of the year. That'll be the Troika, and that'll start on Friday the 23rd, and that runs through Sunday. And then the next, then we have the Memorial Day, which will be the 26th, and then right after that will be the Erie award-winning rib cook-off on the 28th.
Wow.
So that's what I have for events so far. But guys, spring is here and it's going to be time to get up and get out there and spread the word. So with that, I will let you go. I hope everybody has a beautiful Sunday. And if you need yard signs or t-shirts, just get a hold of myself, Brian or Brenda or Tim.
Right. Great. Thanks for the updates, man. We appreciate that.
Yep. And you guys all have a beautiful day and let's turn Erie red and make Erie great again. Thank you guys all so much. And an extra big thank you to my great team of advisors. I appreciate y'all so much. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Yes. Stan typed in what's your thoughts on the new $1,400 penalty for cleanup yards in the city, but nothing on the mini blue tarp city in the woods off the Bayfront connector underneath the tracks. Yeah, they have all these new code enforcement officers, and they're going to start clamping down on all this shenanigans. And of course, they're coming down on the, folks that are renting, because I'm not saying all people that rent are bad. I'm not. But, when you're a homeowner, you have a tendency to go out there and clean your yard up and have a little bit of pride. A lot of folks that do the whole renting thing, they don't give a shit. They're just like, not my problem, not my property, not my problem. So it's just an issue of, they're going to start clamping down on this. And the little whole new, the 10 city thing, I don't think they want to touch that. But yeah, we were just talking about, our little Columbia anti-Israel protester can be deported. And I think that's a great meme with, President Trump working at McDonald's saying goodbye. So he'll be leaving the country here very soon. The judge said they have 2 weeks to come up with some type of appeal, but they've already ruled on this. So basically he's going to go bye-bye. So yeah, that's a great meme. We found that. We figured we'd play that on the show. But yeah, Stan, the city has to do something. You go down 6th Street. It's just garbage everywhere. Go down the north side of 6th Street. Everywhere that Erie Insurance doesn't own, there's just garbage. Just garbage. We went down to A1 Automotive to pick some stuff up. I could not believe how much garbage was just piled on the street curbs. And it wasn't just a little bit, it was just piles of it. You go across 12th Street. Anytime 12th Street, there's bed mattresses out there. And they want to make the city a better place, but then they've been allowing this shenanigans. And I don't know if the mayor or the city council doesn't want to ruffle any feathers or hurt anybody's feelings or, hurt their voter base by offending people, because they'll go Karen mode on you, and then you have a problem. So it's just, they got to do something. I mean, the thing is, of preventive maintenance would have really kind of curbed this problem, but they didn't really clamp down. They had, one code enforcer. I think his name's Andy, but he's one guy for the entire city, but he has to do building permits and building inspections and all this stuff. So I met the guy, nice guy. I never had a problem with Andy. He does a good job. He was just overwhelmed. One guy, but we can hire, a herd of DEI people to make sure that people's feelings aren't hurt. But then you don't have your code enforcement being able to go after these just piles of garbage that just rots your city from within. And I will say the city of Erie has a group of, you always see them walking the streets. They have the, neon jackets on, safety green. They got the little pickers, and they're always picking up cigarette butts and pop bottles and stuff. I give them credit. That's a great idea. But why do we even need that? Because we shouldn't be making those messes. We really shouldn't. But unfortunately, that's what happens when you have the demise of a city and it's crumbling under its own weight of crap, and the city officials don't care. Well, now they're like, oh crap, we better care. Well, yeah, because your population just keeps coming down and down and down. Businesses are struggling to stay. We can have 15 cupcake shops all over Erie and cut the ribbon and be on social media, but how long do they stick around? Not very long. Those are not life-sustaining jobs. They're not. So that's why we got to make Erie great again. I know Brenton Davis. I don't always agree with him. Some of his tactics I don't always agree with. But, his bottom line, his mission is to bring businesses into Erie County and get our tax base up. Let's get people to work. And no, his favorite little line is, Erie doing Erie stuff. We need to stop Erie from doing Erie stuff. It doesn't work anymore. Brad, thanks for coming in here. Build a high, yeah. Squeaky Possum, if you want to get rid of the homeless, you'd have to build a high density, low income housing. Well, they are working on that. There has been the projects of the little mini houses. Those are being built as we speak through the different vocational tech folks. They were built down south. They brought them up. They're getting finished up here. The city of Erie tech kids were building on some projects. Erie County Votech, they were working on those. And so, yeah, I mean, they're working on it. But, who spent more money on the homeless than anybody else? It's been the county executive. I know when I was on council, we earmarked $2 million on a restricted fund just to help the city with homeless. That money sat there for years. Nobody touched it. Nobody asked for it. Nobody came with a project. And then Breton opened up the part of the county facility for the homeless when it was cold out, and they have people in there working those. So those things are being fixed and they're getting put on the news. But, there's this whole anti-Davis thing that doesn't matter that, he was out shoveling snow in the middle of a snowstorm. He was out fixing a handicap ramp. He's out there, putting these projects together for these little tiny homes that will be in the city of Erie. In the city of Erie. He's the county council. He is the Erie County executive, not the mayor of the city. He's not the city council. And the city council, all they want to do is fight about what Brenton Davis is doing. So he can't get anything done, and that's just a tactical political play out of the Democrat book to hamstring him so he can't do anything positive. So, doctor, I had everybody else pay for my doctorate Wood that walks around the town with paper checks and saying he's created all these jobs. No, you haven't. You haven't created one job. All you've done is give out our tax dollars that were supposed to be for helping our tax relief. It's amazing how we got suckered into that deal, and what a flamboozle that was to the folks of Erie County. Oh yeah, we're going to open up let the casinos. We're going to have tax relief. Summit's done well with it. They get a little kickback from the casinos. Great. Summit needs the help too. They're a great community doing great things and sprawling and putting new businesses in, and the sports park. Look what the sport park has done. It took that thing from not making any money to doing big events now, and has international soccer teams coming in, and they added more soccer fields. They bought that building up there so that the folks can have a place to stay while they're doing all this stuff. This is what people that are thinking out of the box are getting accomplished once you're away from the city's bureaucracy and the city council and we only care about DEI and who can give more money to Gary Horton, and what project does he have his fingers into, or what road sign is he walking into this week to get more money and a trip to China. But hey, I digress. Brenda, you want to throw up a video, please?
A Pennsylvania YouTuber has threatened to unalive President Trump, and he's been arrested. This is actually local to me, guys. A Butler County, Pennsylvania man is accused of making threats to assault and unalive President Trump. Sean Momper, who is 32, has been federally charged, and this was announced yesterday on Friday. Well, on Wednesday, the FBI received an alert that Sean was on YT making threats in the comments section. He goes by the username Mr. Satan. These threats happened between January 15th and April 5th, but get this. Right after Trump was inaugurated, I guess the investigation uncovered that Momper got a firearms permit. And then in February, he went on YT under Mr. Satan and said this: I have bought several guns and have been stocking up on ammo since Trump got in office. In March of 2025, Momper commented using his account name and said this: eventually, I'm going to do a mass shooting. And then 1 week later, he commented this: I have been buying one gun a month since the election, body armor and ammo. And he wasn't lying, because The investigation uncovered that he has been buying this and he has been stocking them. Butler Township Police Department and the FBI all worked together and they were able to secure an arrest. I haven't been able to see if he has been given bond, but I'm guessing because of the nature and everything and because it's the president that he's not going to be getting bond, and not anytime soon. I understand your frustration with President Trump, but why would you be so stupid as to go online and tell everybody that you're going to unalive the president, number one, and number two, why would you go and buy ammo and guns when you just made those statements? I mean, he had to have been planning it. I'm glad they stopped him. I don't want to see anybody unalived. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below, and don't.
What a great point. And again, this is a great video. Britta found this. This goes to show you this is not just an LA thing. It's not a Seattle thing. It's not a Texas thing. It's everywhere. This hate is it's festering. And Bernie Sanders and AOC are out on the campaign trail. We're going to take out these millionaires. They're both millionaires. They're not billionaires, but they're millionaires. And they shouldn't be millionaires because they only make $175,000 a year. So they're promoting hate. Who's the one spray painting swastikas on Teslas? Because now the Democrats don't like, Elon Musk, because they're told to hate this week. And again, at least the government's taking these threats seriously. Look what happened down in Butler. They didn't take that seriously. They said they saw a guy walking around with a rangefinder. They saw a guy walking around with a rifle. They saw the guy up on the roof. They didn't take it seriously. And by the grace of whoever you believe in, luck, whatever, President Trump was wounded, but he wasn't killed. And of course they go, it's all fake. It's all propaganda. Yeah. Okay, buddy. That's fine. You just keep telling yourself that, and you will eventually believe it. So yeah, I mean, they're taking these threats seriously, because these people think they're going to go on social media and threaten the president, and nothing's going to be said or done. Those days are over. Those days are over. I don't care if they get shipped down to Guantanamo Bay. If you don't like somebody because they're political thing, I get that. There's a lot of Republican Democrats that I don't agree with, but I don't wish them harm. I don't wish them to be unalived. Can't say the K word because sometimes they'll ding you on Facebook. So, that's not the answer. I think we have a video of some crazy lady Democrat was bragging and can't wait to have President Trump unalived. And they're laughing and joking about it. What is wrong with you people? You don't like politics? That's fine. Put the mouse down and shut it off. If you don't like the president, that's fine. You voted him out once. He got voted back in because you guys picked Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. You picked them. We didn't. It didn't work out so good. And then, hashtag, we told you so. And then, like I've said this once, I said it 1,000 times, I hated what they did to Joe Biden. That was the dirtiest, rotten trick I've seen in U.S. politics while I've been here on this earth, is the fact that the people chose him as their nominee, and they said, no, we don't agree with you. We don't agree with the people. We're taking him out. And then they gave Harris, a ton of money. She blew it, man. She blew through that like, woo, and still money's upside down. But that's okay. Got another video, Brenda?
Well, the SAVE Act, as you mentioned, was passed by the House yesterday. This is the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act. I believe I'm getting that correct. And this act is a common sense measure. It would require proof of citizenship for voting in our elections. The Democrats have been fear-mongering about this bill, have been saying that married women, if their name has changed, they didn't change it on their identification, would not be able to vote. That is complete fallacy. There are outlined in the bill about how to avoid that. The president very much supports a common sense solution to ensuring that only citizens can engage in our elections. This is critical to improving the integrity of our elections and also the trust that American citizens need to have in our electoral process. So the president supports this bill, and that is a myth that has been proven wrong by the text of this bill. And I believe some of the co-sponsors of the bill have been very vocal in addressing that. And certainly, I myself, as a married woman, would not stand before this podium if the president did not support such a common sense measure.
You mean to tell me that the Democrats are gaslighting and taking this bill, picking out their interpretation and throwing the gasoline on it, lighting it on fire and fanning it and say, see, if you're a married woman and you don't change your name, you can't vote. No, not true. It's just like with the tariff things and everything else that he tries to do. They look at a little tiny gap that could be misinterpreted and they exploit it. And you wonder why they're struggling with their candidates. I mean, they I can't make this stuff up, people. You don't believe me? Google it, search it up. Anything you want to verify or disprove anything that we show on here, and that's fine. But yeah, I know, Brenda. Just go ahead. We got I know you got a lot of videos. Like I said, we're not going to be here all day. It's a nice day when everybody go outside and finish the yard work. Just
Thank you all. Well, welcome to the Capitol.
Howard.
It's great that you're all. Sir, you're welcome to come. Let me finish. Let me finish and vote.
Hey, sir, he doesn't have fucking votes, sir. Shut your fucking mouth.
Oh, hey, there's some passion in the building, which is a good thing.
Reaction to some of the boos that you got out there and some of the heckling.
Yeah, and some of the thank you, and this guy wanted to go help me brawl the guy. Look, that's what they're going to do. These folks come here, they're going to have to face the reality. Some of these guys voted for what's happening at the VA and they don't like it. Some of them come up here and are saying they're supporting folks who are voting against this. The House budget is grossly underfunded in veterans and it has to change.
wow. And this guy showed his true colors. And of course, not my nickname, Tampon Timmy, because he pushed to have tampons in the boys' bathrooms from a state that you never hear anything from. But it was funny. Before he ran for president, he literally changed the state flag. And it's like, well, why would you do that? It's a state flag. It's been the state flag for a year. It ends up looking like the Somalian flag. Google it up, look it up. It really, really looks like the flag they fly in Somalia is now his state flag because they dumped tons of Somalians in that district. So they vote. How do you think they get that crazy Somalian congresswoman in there all the time? Because it's a rigged system. They padded that district with all these voters that aren't U.S. citizens that aren't going to be allowed to vote anymore. It passed the House. If I'm not mistaken, I read it passed the House that you have to prove that you're a U.S. citizen with ID to vote in a federal election. I think that was how I read it in my interpretation. Yeah, I like Tim Walz. He seems down to earth. Yeah, okay. I don't think so. He's a stolen valor whack job. He pranced around that he was a command sergeant major, and when his unit deployed to go overseas, he retired. Yeah. There's plenty of interviews out there from men that served underneath him, and when it was a lockdown, he sent goon squads. I don't know if they were military or cops with pepper ball guns and we're shooing people off their front porch and shooting pepper balls at them. Can't make it up, folks. It's all right there on video. I played it on the show once before. And so, yeah, I mean, it's just an issue of this guy is crazy. And I thank you, Jesus, whoever you believe in, that he is not the vice president right now. We would be in a lot of trouble. Woo, buddy. This border thing would not even be looked at. And now all the Democrats are scrambling. We need to go down the border. We want to check this out. A little bit too late. Don't worry about it. We've already fixed it. You know, the numbers are down. The fence is going up. The Border Patrol agents, they're allowed to do their jobs. They're pushing people back. They're not coming across. Texas is putting their anti crossing floaties out in the middle of the water so you can't get through. And that's all the simple it was. You know, keep building that fence. I mean, I'm just serious. Just keep building it. All the other countries have really good border fences. I had a conversation with a person one time. Like, the wall is racist. Well, it's a wall. It's made out of steel and concrete. I don't know how racist that is, but I said, I'll make you a deal. The minute the Vatican takes their fence down, I won't push for a southern border. And they just stood there and looked at me like deer in the headlights because the Vatican's got a nice wall. The Pope's all protected. It's all nice and secure. They have their special little soldiers there that to watch as the Vatican. But it's okay for the Pope to be in a secured location, but it's not okay for us to be in a secured country in our homes. You know, Joe Biden's got a beautiful multi-million-dollar fence around his personal house. Gee, who paid for that? We did. Yeah. So Brenda, go ahead and play another video.
As you know, 12 days ago, I had dinner with President Trump, a dinner that was set up by my friend Kid Rock, because we share a belief that there's got to be something better than hurling insults from 3,000 miles away. And let me first say that to all the people who treated this like it was some kind of summit meeting, you're ridiculous. Like I was going to sign a treaty or something. I have no power. I'm a fucking comedian, and he's the most powerful leader in the world. I'm not the leader of anything, except maybe a contingent of centrist-minded people who think there's got to be a better way of running this country than hating each other every minute. So, thank you.
Amen.
So meet up in person. Maybe it'll be different. Spoiler alert, it was. First good sign, before I left for the Capitol, I had my staff collect and print out this list of almost 60 different insulting epithets that the president has said about me. Things like stupid, dummy, lowlife dummy, sleazebag, sick, sad, stone cold crazy. Really a dumb guy, fired like a dog, his show is dead. 60. I brought this to the White House because I wanted him to sign it, which he did. Which he did with good humor. And I know as I say that, millions of liberal sphincters just tightened. Oh my God, Bill, are you going to say something nice about him? What I'm going to do is report exactly what happened. You decide what you think about it. And if that's not enough pure Trump hate for you, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and I've seen his show, and he doesn't pull very many punches, but he does it respectful. He'll chastise the Democrats for their violent tactics and all their hatred, because that doesn't win anything. All it does is create problems. And to go to the White House, I remember I watched his show. He's talking, I was invited. I'm going to go. I'm going to have a conversation with them. And then Donald Trump signs his list of insults. Genius tactic. So now, is this guy going to ever vote for Donald Trump? Absolutely not. Is he going to probably support some of his policies? Maybe the ones that are reasonable. But it was just the fact that here is you've got a very popular comedian that has a show, lots of followers. He'll talk about Trump on his show, and the crowd will actually boo. Ooh. But he's like, whoa, wait a minute. He's our president. He was elected. Of course, the haters are like, well, Elon Musk got in there and he changed the computers. Well, wait a minute. We said that years ago that those machines were manipulated with, and they were hacked. Oh, no, they're secure. They're secure. But it's okay for them to say it, but then we can't say it because, Musk is a smart guy. He's a rocket scientist, but according to AOC, he's the dumbest billionaire she's ever met. I don't know how many billionaires she's met. I know she's met a lot of multi-millionaires from the Democrat Party that, they're always say tax the rich. Well, why don't you go after your Democrat buddies and yourself? I think she's at like, I don't know, $24 million she's worth now. Been in office, 5-6 years? I was watching a show with Elon Musk. He's like, I would really like to know how she made that much money in such a short time. He goes like, I would love to do it. Well, you have to get into politics. You have to be elected, not appointed, and not work for free because he works for free. And he's here. The two most hated men in the country by the Democrats are the two that get $0 from what they're doing. Trump doesn't take a check. Musk doesn't take a check from the government. They do it for free. Trump on his first election donated the money, and he kept his promise again. He's donating the money. So it's just an issue of, I get it. So it's funny that they call, talk about calling the kettle black. They're always banging on millionaires. Well, they're actually multimillionaires. And my favorite one is, what has Bernie Sanders ever legislated? Whatever has he brought to the floor? What has he ever done in his time and up on the Hill? What has he accomplished other than trying to make communism a way of life? And it doesn't work with our Constitution. He spent his whole life. They're going to run him for president. You watch. Now, I could be wrong. They're going to run him for president, just like they did with Creepy Joe. He ran. This was his third time. They said, well, let's give him a shot. And remember, Joe got thrown out the first time he ran for plagiarism, for lying, for not telling the truth, all these things. About he was top of his class with 4 majors. Now he was at the bottom of the class with almost no majors. And then he got caught plagiarizing, and they pulled him. They said, he's unelectable. But then he gets to be this controllable old man that the people have the puppet strings. They can manipulate him. And if you really paid attention on Kamala Harris, how much she hated him during the primary. Go online and look up their debates. She was vicious. I mean, ruthless to him. Then all of a sudden, oh, Joe, we're best buddy. It's all bullshit. It's all a lie, So yeah, Brendan, you got another video?
So in military news today, the U.S. military has removed Colonel Susanna Mayers, the commander of Pitufik Space Base in Greenland. And for the rest of this video, I'm just going to call it P-Town because I have no idea how to pronounce it. Now, you can read more about this on Ground News, which is citing 38 news sources as of right now, but this comes after she made public remarks via email. So this all happened after Vice President J.D. Vance visited the base on March 28th, 2025, and reportedly criticized Denmark's economic and political stewardship of the region. And in response, Colonel Mayers sent out a base-wide email just days later on March 31st, asserting that the statements made during the vice president's visit did not reflect the views of the base or its personnel. Now, the email quickly made its way up the chain of command and into the public eye, and on April 10th, the Pentagon formally relieved Colonel Mayers of command, citing a loss of confidence in her ability to lead. Additionally, officials underscored that while commanders are permitted to communicate internally with their units, they must refrain from contradicting or undermining leadership. Now, Pituffik Space Base, or P-Town, is the northernmost U.S. military installation and plays a crucial role in missile warning, satellite control, and space domain awareness. And it is a key outpost in the Arctic and vital to U.S. strategic operations. It's also located about 750 miles from the North Pole. Now, as of now, I am tracking that Colonel Mayers has not issued a public statement. That's all I got for today. Follow for more military-related news.
Oops-a-daisy. Yeah, it's not a good idea when you're a colonel to be openly arguing or denouncing or whatever her wordage was on that email about the vice president. You belong to the military. You took an oath. You signed a contract. She is a commissioned officer. She can be decommissioned and removed. Serve at the privilege. Now, and I'm not picking on women in any way, shape, or form, but this is the second woman that has been relieved of duty because of their anti-Trump stance. One was a Navy rear admiral. She was asked to leave because she wouldn't hang his chain of command photo up. Ma'am, with all due respect, you were there to follow orders. Your orders were very simple. Put the picture up on the wall. Have a nice day. No, she chose to die on that picture frame and ruin her career. Poop out. This, I think she's a full bird colonel, decided to voice her opinion and send it outside of normal chain. Well, oops. You can't do that. I had some lady, there was a story online, and of course people are tagging in, and this lady chimes in. That's not fair because that's a dictatorship, and that's really mean. Lady, you have no clue what you're talking about unless you served in the military and understand the Uniform Code of Military Justice as their Bible. And it's really kind of a weird thing where you, as an enlisted or an officer, take an oath to support the Constitution. Well, guess what? While you're supporting that Constitution, you truly don't have all your constitutional rights. When you sign and put your hand up, you waive that Constitution and you agree to the Uniform Code of Military Justice. They have it this way to establish chain of command. You give it an order, you're given that order. You don't like the order, you do the order. There are chain of commands and avenues to fight that. Well, she chose not to do that. And as an officer that probably received her commission from Congress, if I'm not mistaken, she was asked to leave. Now, I don't know what her discharge will say. I don't know if officers get the same type of discharges as enlisted. I was an enlisted guy. I don't know. But if she got anything other than honorable, she could potentially lose her pension, lose any future benefits. I doubt she was just removed and reassigned. She was probably given the option of, you're going to retire. So, you might have been able to get away with that under the Biden administration and these very woke liberal officers. You are going to find out. And she found out. So, Uniform Code of Military Justice. Trust me, as an Army MP, you have to know the basics of it. Remember, there is no Fourth Amendment. There is no search and seizures. Probable cause to do a car stop is pretty non-existent when you're on a military base. If you're on a military base, you are subject to search at any time by an MP. They can just, you work the gate, they could pull your car over, do a quick search, have a nice day. Same thing when you're on base, they can pull you over. They don't even need a brake light out or a license plate missing. They don't need probable cause. You belong to the military. So it's interesting to watch civilians chiming in on this military issue. Yeah, no. Trump's a dictator. No, it's called the military. You might want to pick up an application, fill it out, put your hand up in the air, go to boot camp, and see what we're talking about. It's a whole different world. So all of our veterans in here, you might want to chime in about the Uniform Code of Military Justice. I think when I was active duty, I think their JAG prosecutors were like a 98, 99%, you know, I can't say approval rating, but 98% conviction rating. When you went to court under UCMJ, under you were probably going to be found guilty because the burden of proof is less. You don't have to worry about a warrant not being signed, or the warrant was wrong, or the warrant was delivered incorrectly. You live on military base, knock, knock, knock. They can kick your door in. Have a nice day. Anyway, Brenda, what's our next video?
The drag queen was actually not on any of our kids' shows. It did not air. It was mistakenly put on our website by our New York City station. It was not intended for national distribution. It was immediately pulled down. It was never broadcast.
Do you think that if
our witness, Miss Kerger, lied under oath and said it wasn't featured on PBS? This show was aired on PBS on April 1st, 2021.
The hips on the drag queen go swish, swish, swish. So the shoulders on the drag queen go shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. The mouth on the drag queen goes blah, blah.
That's repulsive. That's not what children ages 3 to 8 should ever be watching. That was aired on April 1st, 2021.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? And I wonder why they're getting their funding pulled for that kind of shenanigans. You know, that might have flown under the previous administration. This is not going to happen under this administration. And it was funny. They had the El Presidente of the PBS up there and on Hill on some. It was fun to watch. Little dry, but wow, what she cleaned her own clock. Her own arrogance got her basically defunded. And it stinks because I know there's a lot of good programming on there. I think they do a lot of good, but I think they took the joke a little bit too far. I mean, I remember, Conjunction Junction, What's Your Function? You know, that little cartoon that we used to watch in the morning on Saturday morning cartoons. You know, I'm just a Bill laying here on Capitol Hill. That was the essence of who we are, and then talking about your adverbs and your pronouns and your verbs. I mean, those were great shows, and those were all brought through there, That's fine, Brenda, go ahead. You can go ahead and put the next one up. I'm ready.
Should we kill the kids in foster care? And
why not? Why not, if that's the case?
We should kill the kids in foster care that aren't wanted?
Who's going to take care of them? I need to know the percentage of people who take children from foster care and abuse them and molest them, who make them like personal slaves.
We should just kill them.
Statistics before you come to me talking about pro-life.
We should kill the victims of molestation.
I think, what does this have to do with molestation?
You just mentioned people molesting children. We should kill the kids in foster care is what you said.
What I'm saying is in general, overall. If I don't want to have a baby, I should have the choice to.
Just don't have sex then. Just don't have sex.
That's not even logical.
It is.
It is. Who are you, Nancy?
I sound dumb.
You
dumb as okay.
It does, because even as teens, people explore. And it's like, as funny as you want to be, people should still have the choice.
So you went from saying that my outfit was really cute to saying I'm an effing idiot. That's so mean.
But I think that your point of view is very obstructed, and I think that you just don't understand the magnitude of having a child.
Yeah, well, I'm not the one who admitted they would be okay with killing babies in foster care and killing children that have been abused.
That's not the point. What I'm saying.
That's really.
What's wrong with you?
So this is the post that Brianna Rivers put up on Facebook concerning the assault that she was videoed that she got caught on video doing. It's so funny how everyone in support of that weird antagonistic reporter are all white, inbred, pro-life, racist Jesus freaks, Trump supporters who used a clearly cut and edited video to make such grand assumptions. All of you can get in a basket and go directly to hell. I think what we saw was you attack another lady over words, boo. Anyway, good luck in jail and with your charges.
I saw that video, and again, I apologize for the bottom half. Those are TikTok videos, and they put ads on them or they edit them up the way they do. Unbelievable that human beings today can honestly sit there and say that it's okay to kill children in foster care. I just can't make this stuff up, people. I can't. And you wonder why it's becoming us and them. It's a matter of life and death. I mean, it truly is. You've got kids that have no control of their lives, are put into foster care to try to provide them a better life. And the philosophy of the lady getting interviewed, it's okay to kill them. I swear I was watching this during the whole presidential race. They were talking about abortion, of course. The Democrats want to push that to the front light, and it's just these women were saying, well, yeah, it's just cells and it's mine. I can do what I want with it, and I can unalive my baby up until its first birthday. So I swear, Google this stuff up. Look it up. It's just not me making stuff up. I could even play the video because it is just absolutely lunatics that were basically saying it's okay to unalive their children up until a year old. It's okay up until, they can say even if the child comes out, you can unalive them at birth. Okay, no. And then these people in California were saying, well, no, it's okay. It's up to a year old. It's my child. I can do what I want with it. I'm going to go with a big fat, let's go with no on that one. But it's ridiculous. And you wonder why this country has become so polarized and so us and them, left and right, red and blue. I've tried to say this 1,000 times, folks. This is not a red thing. It's not a blue thing. It's a red, white, and blue thing. We're America. We were all pretty much immigrants. Our forefathers came here. They came here legally. They assimilated. You go back in history where if you wanted to come here, you had to have a sponsor. That sponsor had to have a place for you to live. That sponsor had to make sure you could prove that you had a job. No, but nowadays just bring them on over and put them on have multi-millions of people on Social Security illegally. And then when the president and Doge says, well, no, yeah, we're going to cut Social Security. See, you guys are going to cut Social Security. No, we're going to cut the fraud, the waste, and the abuse out of Social Security. So the system can actually survive how much money's been taken out of it by the government over the years. If we could just cut the fraudulent folks receiving Social Security that are 150, 200 years old, it's got a good chance of still being around for a few years. And that's all they're trying to say. But then it's just like the local Democrats suing the county executive for a tax increase. The Democrats on the Hill don't want this fraud to be exposed and have it stopped. And of course, they're just like, well, because they're Nazis. No, they're not Nazis. You're the only one using the Nazi word, not us. You're the only ones that have swastikas on your signs, not us. You're the one spray painting it on a vehicle. If I could afford one, I swear I'd go buy a Tesla truck tomorrow. If I could, I would plug it in, have a nice day, run my electric bill up there. But man, it would be fun just to watch there's a couple running around Erie. but it's just ridiculous, and of course, the people that have Teslas are mostly liberal Democrats. They bought them for the Green Deal. Guess what? Has access to our social security numbers. He wants our money. Listen, he used to own PayPal. Any information that you put on PayPal, he had access to, and nothing happened. Relax, stop. But that's what they do. The Democrats have to drill down on an issue, and they get everybody wound up. It's just like our little protest here in Erie a couple weeks ago. We showed you the buses. We showed them to you right on our show. Oh no, 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 those weren't busted. Yeah, they were. I had a local person send me that picture. Said, "There's the buses," and as soon as I saw it, I'm like, "I know where that's at." It was parked on Gannon University property. I was hope sure they had permission. So yeah, Brenda, video, please.
It's always should be America first, and anybody that doesn't think that way, please tell me what the hell country you think you're going to take your wife and your kids to and your grandkids to. There is no other place in the world like America. I am red, white, and blue. I could care less whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. Just wake up and understand that we cannot stand to lose any more market share, and we better be tough on this one, or we turn our backs on the future. And I've got 10 grandchildren. They're relying on me to stand up, and hopefully other members of this committee will do the same thing. This is not about tearing Trump down. This is about building America up.
Well, look at that. Mike Kelly, the new scary guy that all the Erie Dems hate. Well, they hate him because he's a Republican. They hate him because he's friends with Trump. And of course, they hate him because they can't get him unseated because of his, popularity just south of here. Well, sorry, that's how elections work, folks. And just because I love it, he won't do a town hall. We demand he do a town hall so we can speak to him. I've seen your town halls. All they are is people screaming at him, at these people. You say one word, 15 people dogpile you, philosophically, of course. So all it is they want to be able to scream in his face, and with the mentality of most Democrats being threatening and going around openly threatening him on social media, why would he want to do that? Why? No incentive. Just to make sure there's nothing that he's going to say or do that are going to make these people happy, other than the fact they get the chance to storm there and have their swastikas and all their hate and how much they hate Mike Kelly. Okay. Well, he's done this and he's done that. Okay. Well, he got sand. Yeah, that's his job. Because if Presque Isle doesn't have sand, boys and girls, that costs us millions in dollars of revenue from the tourist industry. Remember, we want to make Erie a tourist area? It's not. We have this thing called winter. It's not Florida. So there's no sand here. There's no sand here. Every grain of sand is brought in, and somebody has to pay for it. So when he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll get you guys some sand. You guys, what do you want? We need sand for Presque Isle. Okay, we'll get you that." And they just they hang that around his neck like it's a bad thing. People from all over come to Presque Isle to enjoy the sand that has not from here. It just blows my mind about that. Blows my mind. Yeah, so I got to, let's see here. I got a couple text messages here, that's just the roving advertisements. They throw the ads in there just for the phone numbers, PayPal, again, this is a free voice. We don't have sponsors. So we would really appreciate, we've had people donate money and pieces of equipment to make this thing happen, and we greatly appreciate that because it's just an independent voice. I don't belong to NBC, ABC, CNN. I don't. I belong to the BB Broadcasting, Brendan Bryan Broadcasting, the BBBC Broadcasting. But yeah, other than that, Brendan got more videos for us. I know there's one I'm just waiting for. Here it is, local contributor.
Know when I'm coming down the street, rumbling tires and a great big scream. Gonna take your can for a ride. I'll throw it in the back or over the side. Dump, you know when I'm coming down the street, rumbling tires and a great big scream. Gonna take your can for a ride. I'll throw it in the back or over the side. Dump it and shake, shake. Dump it and shake, shake. Dump it and shake, shake. I keep our neighborhood clean. Give me that garbage.
Oh, Dave, local boots in the ground fan, does these videos up out of the kindness of his heart. He donates the videos. You outdid.
The only thing that would have been funnier is if it had been the Trump garbage truck.
Oh, you're asking a lot. The only thing, like I said, to make it even funnier, if that sign wasn't Andre Horton, it was Chuck Nelson. If that was a Chuck Nelson sign, that it would have been absolutely 110% awesome. But Dave, thank you for the video. He puts these things together. He has his creative mind. He's a retired guy and loves doing video. Does a great job. He sent me that one the other day. I was sitting here laughing out loud because it was just so funny. And that dude, I don't know who the dude is. I guess it's like a kids show that he does these. That song just blows my mind, and it was just Andre Horton's yard signs. Again, homegrown videos. Dave, thank you. We appreciate we've put in tons of videos up from you. Some of them are not so politically correct. We try to keep somewhat neutral, buoyant-ish show. And I know we hurt some people's feelings, and that happens, but sometimes we just go, okay, we can't play that one. That was just way out there. But Dave, thank you for that video. What else you got for us, Brenda?
Spangled awesome, Chairman. But I did not call Senator Sanders an ignorant slut. I like omelets better than sex.
Goat's milk latte drinking, avocado toast eating.
All of the wasteful spending, I call it spending porn. Stick it up there, fact checker. We cannot run the greatest economy by putting fairy dust and unicorn urine in our car. They wanted it like Ben wants J-Lo. I'm not talking about buying it, but let's suppose I came in one day and the cocaine was there. Life is hard. But it's harder when you're stupid. Frankly, I can't because I can't get my head that far up my rear end. That looks like we're giving Lindsay Lohan the keys to the minibar. The tofu-eating wokarati, if it weren't for double standards, there wouldn't be any standards at all in this town. The justice stick is coming. I've driven all over Washington, D.C. I cannot find money trucks screaming like they're part of a prison riot. They can kiss my ass. I don't know why we have to give money to countries that hate us. They should be able to hate us for free. Somebody at the White House has been smoking the devil's lettuce.
This is Senator John Neely Kennedy, the Capitol's only politician who's always got a punchline.
What do you think of the new leadership, Jasmine, AOC, and Bernie?
I consider Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez to be the leader of the Democratic Party. She's entitled to her opinion. I'm entitled to mine. As I've said about her before, I think she's the reason there are directions on a shampoo bottle.
Oh, where does he come up? Does he have his staffers have a comedian on staff that come up with these one-liners. I mean, he has just been known, and that's just a scratch on the surface of some of his rhetoric and how he does it. Stan, he put a text in there, and I was just catching up. I love the post for Elon to buy Harley Davidson and watch liberals try to start vandalizing people's bikes. Yeah, that probably wouldn't go very good. I'm just saying, Stan, that's absolutely great. And there's don't forget April 19th, Democrats will be doing it again, their little protest downtown. We'll see how many buses show up. I know I've heard some rumors that, there might be a counter protesting drive-by. But I haven't seen anything. I haven't heard anything. I've just heard a rumor, a ripple in the wind. I'll try to lock that down by Wednesday. So if it does come to life, we can promote it on our show on Wednesday. So all the folks that come in on buses, we can say welcome to Erie, and we'll bring them Smith hot dogs, so they feel welcome. Any more videos, Brenda? I think
Negative.
Ghost Rider. The pattern is full. All right. Well, I guess we can start bringing this thing in for a landing. It's Sunday afternoon. I didn't think we'd make it an hour. It's 4:23. So, here we've been going on for quite a bit. And it's just the way we are. We get some fun chatter going on. This was some artwork that someone sent. It's funny. There's a video, and this meme was brought up because this is exactly what Pelosi said years ago. It's okay when they come up with, see, there it is, 1995 trade deficit of $34 billion, US 2%, China 35%. And they were all talking about how getting these tariffs under control. But they didn't. But then when Trump comes in office and tries, oh my God, say, yeah, see here's the picture of the buses that were brought up for our little protest downtown. Get that? Let's see. We got some here. Oh yeah, we already played that one. Let's see. What's this one? Hey, we gotcha. So, Brenda, want to go ahead and play our outro? Want to thank everybody coming in. Let's see who won today. We had more people on YouTube. X had a couple people, and of course we've got a couple people on Twitch. We appreciate that. That is our new format. We're trying to make a break in there. That's nice to see the two people come in there and check us out. We appreciate that. Like I said, we kind of searched around where to spread our wings at now that we're really up and running, and we'll go from that. Behind also those protests. Yeah, gotcha. No, I mean, we understand. We know who it's doing it. We get it. We get it.
If tomorrow so, all the things were gone, I'd worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA. where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the
All right, everybody, thanks for coming out today. A special thank you to Brenda for everything she does to keep the show on the road and the videos straight. Takes a little time to get that all squared away and make it look so perfect. I want to reach out to our new got a couple listeners on Twitch. We appreciate that. That we do. You know, that's why we said we're going to try a new format, see if that works. That doesn't work out, well, we can try another one. That's why we did the upgrades to make our show a little more visible all over the place. And like we say, I'm going to do this one real quick. Here's a QR code. If you need to get registered to vote, change your party affiliation, request a mail-in ballot in Pennsylvania, just take that QR code, take a picture of it on your smartphone. That will take you to Linktree. At the very, very top, it has a little icon. It bounces around so it catches your eye. Click it. That'll take you right to the Pennsylvania official page to all your voting requests. Because trust me, it's coming up fast. You blink your eye. I think it's May 5th is the last day to register for the primary. So we got to get those out. Again, thank you all for coming out this afternoon. We're going to be playing this by ear if we do Sunday matinees, because the weather is going to get nice. We're going to get busy. And even though these shows are important, we'll talk, because if it's a nice day, I don't want to sit here. I want to be out on my bike. So yeah, like we always say, Shank out.